Okay, so if aura fields, energy fields, electromagnetic type of things, Merkabas maybe, energy fields around the body are real and exist, which I think they do. There's a lot of evidence for it, but with haven't Kirlian photographied myself yet, but I'm gonna say they're real. And so, like anything that metal that gets into a magnetic field is going to slightly distort the field to whatever its little bend in the magnetic arrangement will do. And sometimes when I'm sizzling this stuff off of me, a lot of times I gotta just wherever you got glands, wherever you have lymph nodes, non-coincidentally, you'll find Morgellons hair issues. That seems to be where they'll be concentrated. Also, the skin discoloration and various other related nice phenomenons. What I've noticed, and it's weird, is that the airplane connection, the excessive amount of air travel, sometimes, quite often, for long periods of time, even like days, weeks, months, and then inexplicably, none at all. If you really watched the air travel for like a couple years straight, like every day, and got to notice the patterns that it has and doesn't have, you kind of come to the conclusion that there's a whole lot more going on than passenger flights and packages that people are sending here and there. There's a whole lot more going on, even with the small planes. But I notice it because where I have the Morgellons hair issues, that this is what it feels like. It feels like static, like when you take clothes out of the dryer. You got a bunch of sheets in the dryer and they're all static, cleaned up. If you just reach in there and pull it out, and it's snap, crackle, pop, zapping you, and you can kind of feel the static from the sheets on your skin. It's palpable. You can feel it. That's what it feels like. And that seems to be what goes in conjunction with a flyover by one of the airplanes. So and it's if there's like something, a signal being sent out by the airplane that is triggering this growth of the nano fibrous material that you can't really see the fibers themselves because they're so small. I think that's why. But looking at the skin and the area that's affected, and it looks discolored and the texture's all messed up on the surface, so you see it like this plucked chicken look skin, and just ridiculous stuff. And, oh, of course, the doctor said I had clubbing of my fingers, and so I looked that up, and it was all about lung cancer. I'm like, oh, well, that ties in with not being able to breathe for that, to put myself in the ozone chamber for 4 months straight, which was my van with ozone generator on high, which I think that saved me at that point in time from that manifestation of this multi-headed hydra of an affliction known as whatever you want to call it. I say Morgellons for lack of a better term. It's an engineered disorder, disease, whatever. In case somebody noticed, there's stuff being sprayed on us. It's generally, not good. Aluminum really distorts magnetic fields. And if your cells of your body are given their shape and their position and their interaction with the other cells around them, is all dependent upon their shape and their connectivity. And it's the magnetic field that gives the cell its shape, called its zeta potential, is the measure of that field. And if that has aluminum in it, in the magnetic field, on that small of a magnetic field, a tiny bit of aluminum seems like it would, say you had a nice, even little amoeba-looking magnetic field around a cell, and then you stick a little sliver in it of aluminum, and the aluminum causes the magnetic to want to conduct to electric while it goes through the aluminum, but then it has nowhere to go, so it's basically just shorting out internally. It's drawing power from the magnetic field, weakening it, as well as distorting its shape. Now put 1,000 tiny little slivers of metal into that one cell, assuming that you could make slivers of metal that small. Mm-hmm. And that would be bad enough. However, make all those little slivers of metal the same size, so that they have the same properties, the same electrical properties, the same wavelength, and then electrify them, externally with some type of, I don't know, transmission device that uses waves of energy, like maybe on a spectrum of, who knows, from radio to micro and everything in between. One of those is bound to work, and transmitted at high frequency, like the same high frequency that the wavelength of the little sliver of metal would be that's sticking inside the magnetic field of one little cell that's just minding its own business, right? Trying to do its cellular thing, being, a piece of your liver or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden there's 10 million little knives stabbed in it. It's the death of 1 million cuts to each cell. So, like, then the signal goes out and electrifies all those little pieces, and then they vibrate within the structure of the magnetic field of the cell, on every cell in your body at the same time, or they resonate with each other and they fluctuate and can move, and like it's ridiculous, the things that most people wouldn't believe what they go from there. As soon as you have some sort of high frequency connection to a physical thing, it can be manipulated in many ways, and we're more than just a physical thing. We have like our electromagnetic nervous system and muscular system, and I don't know, I think they can hijack people at this point, or low jack, or however they would call that. I better be quiet, they're listening. Shh. Anyway, that's my humor. So if I'm clearing some fields, my aura fields with fire, is that truly alchemy, right? We have elements, and that's palpable. I can feel it. It's if tuning forks can be used to align, your aura field, your magnetic, your electric, energy around you, that doesn't seem unreasonable to me. The tuning forks things that is then the elements are too. Water can, obviously, earth. I've done earth. Got to do earth again here soon. In the mud, in the dirt, in the rivers. Fire works great. You can actually feel layers upon layers outside of, up close to your skin. I don't have to be like, directly on it and have this shit be smoking, but it's wherever there's a lot of lymph nodes, a lot of, or glands are at, it's super sensitive there. The flame will act strange sometimes. Yeah, you can tell. I can tell. It won't burn me. I can get really close to it and like, with the torch even, and like, shh, and like, okay, it should be burning me, and then I can't even feel it. And I'm like, so, just gotta be, quick on the draw in case all of a sudden you can feel it. But I've noticed it's not a case of it's burning me and I don't feel it, because I've never been burned from it when I wasn't feeling it, if you know what I mean. It's like something is blocking the heat, like right now it is. It's like the BTUs are being used up by something that's continuously coming off my skin. And it's quite noticeable. I could, it, it's not just physical either. It's like I can feel this is, it feels like it's like evaporating toxins out of my glands, honestly, if I had to describe it. But maybe it's just clearing the energy fields of my aura. I think the heat's doing something there, though, because it smells rather strange. I mean, it doesn't smell like burnt hair, and if it was hair, it would be gone at a certain point, and it would stop, and then I'd start burning my skin, right? But that doesn't happen. That hasn't ever happened, actually, in 3 years now, or I don't know exactly, at least 3 years. Like daily. It's ridiculous. I wish I didn't have to do this shit. But all I gotta do is look back on my videos to about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I'm like, that's what I have to look forward to if I stop doing the things that I found work. So this could just be like fire yoga, or it could be kundalini yoga. I don't know. Maybe it would be kriya. I think that's what your word for fire is. But either way, if I'm going to use yoga, fire, anyway. Blah, blah, blah. Get lost up on their Street Fighter. Yoga fire. Anyway, I digress. I'm losing it here. So anyway, what am I saying? Oh yeah, it's totally palpable, and wherever there's lymph nodes, it's expressed even more. And yeah, there's something with the aircraft triggering some sort of reaction. I learned in a magazine I read in the 80s when I was a teenager about how they could trigger the growth of mushrooms with microwaves, I believe it was. And they thought that cosmic background radiation is what causes mushrooms to grow at night, and the sun's energy that the mushrooms don't like is what keeps them from growing during the daytime, even when they're not exposed to light, of course. And I don't know about all that, but what I took away from it is that they could use microwaves to imitate this cosmic background radiation and make mushrooms grow in the daytime, as long as there wasn't too much sunlight, I guess. But if they figured that out long ago in the ancient 80s, then and what Paul Stamets like GMO'd a strain of fungus so that it would kill ants. And ants are pretty tough, so if he could do that and it's announced and we know about it, and you see the little ant with the mushroom growing out of his head, well, do you think that the evil powers of the world wouldn't take that exact same tech and make something for us warm, moist humans that was a fungus? It may not have to express itself as a fruiting body of a mushroom out of your head. It could just look like white hair or silver hair or varicose veins. Just think about that, huh? Unpleasant. Okay, battery's gonna die. Bye bye.